Okay, Mr. Chairman, we're on the air.
Before that.
Mr. Chairman, we're on the air.
Okay, good. I'm going to call the meeting to order of the Zoning Board of Adjustment, regular meeting for June 21st, 2022 at 7:33 p.m. And call to order and statement of compliance. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting a copy of the public meeting dates on the municipal bulletin board and website, by sending a copy to the Echo, Sentinel, and Courier News newspapers, and by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. Standard board procedures. Any hearing conducted by the board is a quasi-judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision, and decorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. Meeting cutoff. Announcement is made that as a matter of procedure, it is the intention of the Zoning Board of Adjustment not to continue any matter past 10:30 p.m. at any regular or special meeting of the board unless a motion is passed by the members then present to extend the meeting to a later specified cutoff time. Electronic devices. All in attendance are asked to mute cell phones or any electronic devices as to not interrupt the proceeding. Pledge of Allegiance. Brian, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Aronio is currently absent. Mr. Giannakis?
Here.
Mr. Grosskopf?
Here.
Mr. Hain?
Here.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Here.
Mr. Lindeman?
Here.
Ms. Brennan?
Here.
Vice Chairman Johnson?
Here.
Chairman Correct?
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Good, thank you. All right, resolution extension. We have the resolution extension being asked by 00 Oaks Road LLC, Omar and Anis Elisa, Elissa, application number 19-10Z. And we have that, everyone has it in front of them, correct?
Yes.
Everybody has it somewhere electronically or in front of them in paper? They are writing, I'll just go over the cover letter. We are writing to request an extension to the resolution of the Board of Adjustment memorialized on July 20th, 2021 to extend the variance application approval number 19-10Z. The applicant having been 00 Oaks Road LLC. We are the current property owners and had purchased the property on July 30th, 2021 from the previous owners who had obtained the variance and initial extension. Okay. The individuals are currently sitting,
Yes.
right? Would you introduce yourself, please?
Omar Lisa from 1452 Valley Road, Millington, New Jersey.
And I'm Inas Elisa from 1452.
You can pull the microphone closer to you, so you have to lean forward.
Inas Elisa from 1452 Valley Road, Millington.
Okay, could you swear them in, yes?
Yeah, if you'll both raise your right hand, please. Do you both swear to God or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
All right, now, we understand you're asking for the variance, and would you explain further what the delay reason was and why you need the variance, or why you need the extension?
Sure, yeah.
Speak up. It's a little, somehow it's a little hard to hear you.
Okay, I'll speak up. So we purchased this property, as you've seen, from 00 Oaks Road LLC on the premise that the variance was approved. Since then, with the conditions of the pandemic and retaining an architect, services of an architect, a civil engineer to conduct surveys and plans has taken a lot longer than we had anticipated. As of last month, we've actually had bid documents out to contractors, 5 of them. We've only received, 2 bids so far, and we're still working. I don't expect that we're going to get those for another at least 2 weeks. So by the time they submit for permits, most likely this extension will expire. So we're requesting that we extend it so we have the chance to do this properly.
Okay, so you're actively pursuing the work on the property?
Correct. And I have copies of the plans that we've had, working with that are in development.
Yeah, that's okay. You just need to show some progress, so that's fine. And your delay was mainly due to the fact that you didn't get many responses and COVID being in place, kind of hindered your ability to move forward.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions by the board of these?
No.
Is this happening? Okay.
I may have one or
Yes,
two.
go ahead.
quick if I
Go
may,
ahead.
Mr. Chairman, and maybe also just by way of general guidance, although I know the board is familiar with the extension requests, and this is a second extension request for this property, but from the prior owner was the prior extension request. But the board certainly does have the jurisdiction to grant extension requests under Section 70B and also 21 of the MLUL, where the application for development, the developer, the applicant is barred directly or indirectly from proceeding with the development otherwise permitted. So you have not had a chance yet, per your testimony, to commence construction, which is required within 1 year. This is the second extension request. I did note that you asked for a 2-year extension from July 2022. My advice to the board, if the board is inclined to grant the extension request, that it's generally the procedure to grant 1-year extensions, as has been previously, up to 3 1-year extensions. It's the board's discretion, but the board can decide whether it wishes to take it 1 year at a time, if you will, based upon the testimony, or whether to grant a 2-year extension request or deny. It's the board's discretion. But let me ask if you would be, if the board were to determine to grant a 1-year extension, would that be acceptable to you? From July 2022 to July 2023, and you reserve the right to request an additional extension if necessary.
I think we would be okay with that. The reason we requested the 2 years, not that we would like to delay the project any further, but, you know, the way that things are going, like I referenced earlier, with the condition of not receiving, you know, all the bids in complete form, and us being able to make decisions to submit for the contractors to submit permits, you know, we were kind of concerned that we might not get through that process by the following July.
You only
We're
have
trying to avoid.
commence construction. You don't have to complete construction
Agreed.
within the 1-year period, but
But-
just so it's clear.
But I take it you're saying now that you might not even be able to commence construction because of the lack of opportunity to get the bids from the different builders?
Yeah, so a lot of the builders, so at least 2 out of the ones we had, you know, approached have declined to bid. The ones that did agree to bid have not submitted. I've only have like 1 bid
Oh, okay.
response. So my concern is, as this process gets prolonged, you know, for also us having to go back to the architect, we might have to value engineer, budgeting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
I'm concerned that the process might get extended, not because we want it to be extended, but just because of the conditions of the marketplace.
Steve, I have a question. If they need to commence construction within a year, does that mean actually break ground, have materials? Because I could see where having building materials might cause a delay given the current conditions with supply chain.
Unfortunately for me, it's not, there's not a definition of commenced construction. There is some case law, for example, soil borings and preparatory work such as that does not rise to the level of commencing construction. By the same token, clearly breaking ground would be, beyond soil borings, breaking ground would be commencing construction, in my opinion. So they might not need to actually begin building the home, per
So
se.
in other words, just getting permits wouldn't do it?
Yeah, I was curious, but applying for a permit doesn't count for anything?
Well, applying for permits counts, but it's not commencing construction.
Okay.
What does it count for if it's not commencing construction?
You can't commence construction until you get the permit
Right,
granted, so
right.
that's where it counts.
Okay.
But
So in other words,
So if
that's
you if you gave them 1 year and on June 19th, they applied for permits, they didn't commence construction in the
Right.
definition that you've applied.
correct,
They'd
but
still have to ask for the extension.
they ask for another
Okay.
1-year extension, or for that matter, you're allowed to do it nunc-pro-tunc, i.e. after the fact. So you can, you know, or relate back your request, even if it's after the fact. But again, the board does have the discretion to grant a 2-year. It's just more the exception than the rule, but the evidence is before you, and it's certainly within your discretion.
No, I personally can see the need for a long, maybe in this case, with the current conditions of the of just the economic environment and the fact that a lot of these builders are being fussier, maybe 2 years may not be over, or, longer, considered too long in this case. I mean, normally, when things were relatively normal, a year was enough time, but, no, I don't see, I personally don't see 2 years as being too bad, but,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
is it possible to give a one-year extension with a one-year automatic extension past that, should they come and?
No, they'd still have to come before us.
No, well, I was saying that if we approved 2 years, but one with an extension before coming to the board, if it goes through Ms. Coons.
I don't know.
I'm being tricky.
Frankly, that would, I think that would effectively be a two-year
Yeah,
extension
right.
request, so there's
Exactly.
probably.
Yeah, I didn't
You
think
don't
so.
ask, you don't know.
Well, that was a good question. I mean, yeah, a hybrid thing.
I have another question.
Yes.
So if we grant the 2-year extension today, which I think sounds reasonable under the circumstances, does that then count for the 3-year extension in total, or could they get another year?
That is 3 years, and generally,
To
there's,
be done.
it's 3 1 years.
Got it.
Is the
So
maximum, if
they'd
you
be
will.
on their third
Right.
Yeah.
one-year extension.
Other than some perhaps extraordinary circumstances, but I'm not aware, of the right to ask for another extension.
Yeah.
Beyond 3 years.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So this is the first extension we're applying for. The
But
prior
the property
extension
goes
was for
by
the
the
prior
property.
owner. So it doesn't matter, it's the property, okay.
Goes on against the property, not the
Yeah,
owner.
and the point of it is for approvals, board approvals, not to, become stale, if you will.
Right.
There's the expectation that people will proceed with the approvals because they're not, while the variances run with the land forever, the right
To use it,
to
so,
sit
yeah.
and wait and decide when you want to commence construction doesn't run forever. That's why we have the one-year ordinance. We're already 2 years into it, if you will. The 1 year's gone and the one-year extension's gone, so to speak.
So be mindful that if we do choose to give you 2 years, that's the end of your ability to, unless, like Steve said, there's some extraordinary thing that happens. There would have to be very over.
Or a tolling of the act, perhaps, but,
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely tell you, we have every intention to move as fast as we can.
Oh,
The
we-
reason, the
we-
basis for the 2 years, honestly, is we don't want to miss it by, a day and then
Right.
have to be delayed and come back for that. That's really the basis for the 2 years. We don't want to miss it by a day, right, and then just say, oh,
Yeah.
we just missed the cutoff.
Yeah.
But we have every intention, honestly.
Hopefully
we're-
this time next year, you will have broken.
Hopefully, we can invite you all to the property next year.
All right, well, do you have any other questions by board members? Go ahead.
Yeah, just clarification, so it's 3 years extension after the original 1 year?
Yes. No, after the original time that we gave the,
Okay, so we could have given them more than a year originally?
yeah, well, normally, yes, we could have, yes. But the person only asked for a year.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
But, so it's
Yeah.
whatever the time is originally, and then 3 years of
three
extension.
one-year extensions
one-year
beyond the initial
extensions.
Gotcha.
12-month period, correct,
Right.
correct.
Yeah. All right, hearing no more questions, do I hear a motion to approve the 2-year extension for the application number 19-10Z, block 12402, lot 8, 00 Oaks Road in Millington?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
I'm sorry, do we have 8 members? I think we need the motion from a
Yeah.
I
different
do, I know.
member.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Board member Brennan, my
Would like to
apologies.
make the motion.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay.
There you go.
Roll call?
Ms. Grosskopf?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes?
Mr. Giannakis?
Yes.
Mr. Hang?
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Johnson?
Yes.
Chairman Correct?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Congratulations, good luck with it.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I mean,
May the
keep,
prices of wood come down.
yeah, right.
Seriously.
Yeah, good luck with it. All right, next thing on the agenda is resolutions. We have resolutions to pass. We have the Robert Hessels, David, and Maureen Singh, application number 22-04Z, And that was the hearing on June 7th. Board action was June 7th. Memorialization is today, June 21st. And the people that are eligible are Vice Chairman Johnson, Jerry Aronio, Mr. Hain, Mr. Lindeman, and Ms. Brennan. I am not,
And Vice
neither is
Chairman
Gary, neither is Tom, and neither is Mr. Rosenberg. All right, so, does anyone who is eligible have any additions or comments on the resolution the way it is written?
No.
Okay. You always have a correction. You have no correction.
Wait a minute, this is on the record, thanks.
No typos this time, good. All right, do I hear a motion from any of those people that are eligible?
So moved.
Second from the people that are eligible.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Vice Chairman Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman,
Yes.
and Ms. Brennan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, and I just gotta say, thank you guys for keeping the ship afloat on June 7th. I was doing my civic duty of doing the election, Board of Elections, and I did watch this on the computer, and I pity you guys that were sitting here on June 7th, because it looked like you had your hands full. You were a long time that night. Now we've got the NGK Investments LLC, application number 22-02Z. The resolution, the hearing date was June 7th, the board action was June 7th, the memorialization is today, June 21st. The individuals that are eligible to vote on it are,
Vice Chairman Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman, and Ms. Brennan.
okay. Would one of those three like to move it? Or do you have any corrections or changes?
No.
Okay. Would one of those three like to make a motion?
Moved.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Okay, roll call.
Ms. Brennan,
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Very good. All right. Now, we have the meeting minutes from May 17th and June 7th.
They're all stapled together.
Oh, okay, I was just wondering, yeah, I was looking at that. Okay, so the meeting minutes for May 17th was called to order at 7:40. Absent was Brian Johnson, Scott Hain, Jonathan Rosenberg, and Jessica Brennan. So the rest of us, does anybody have any corrections or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of May 17th, 2022?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Now, we have the minutes for June 7th. And I was absent, Gary was absent, Tom was absent, and Jonathan was absent. Do you have any changes or amendments to the minutes of June 7th for the people that were here?
No.
No.
Okay, hearing none. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for June 7th?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. So that's done. All right. Now, we have the main event. The application for bulk variance carried from 6/7/22, block 12203, lot 13-02, zone R3, known as 118 Waverly Avenue, application number 22-03Z, Gaurang, G-A-U-R-A-N-G, and Vanita Patel. Applicant proposes to construct a rear yard patio. And I did look at the applicant, I did listen to it on the video, but I think you guys were starting all over again, so
That is
really.
correct, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
but I just want to let you know, I did listen to it, and I did realize you were starting all over again because of a square foot area of ratio for the building. But I'm glad that we could come back and address this today. We didn't have too much of a delay, so that was good. Is the applicant ready?
The applicant is ready.
Okay, go ahead.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, since we did have that delay and at least the possibility of a floor area ratio being required, we were prudent, and the applicant was prudent, and the applicant re-noticed referencing the D4 floor area ratio
Good.
variance potential for this application. So I did have an opportunity, a brief opportunity before the meeting, to review the affidavit of service and publication and the notice. I found the notice to be sufficient, found it to be timely served, if memory serves me, and it usually does still. It was both published and certified mailed on June 10.
Correct.
Both at least 10 days prior to this evening. So the notice was sufficient, timely served, and the board has jurisdiction to hear this application tonight.
Thank you. Would you swear in the witness, please?
Certainly, and I'll swear in our board professionals as well, since it's a new hearing.
Yes.
If you'll all raise your right hand, do all of you swear to God or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, I do.
Thank
Okay,
you
great.
all.
All right, proceed.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, board professionals. Frederick Zelli, Bisogno, Leffler, and Zelli on behalf of the applicants. Before we go into the main event for this application, I would like to address that FAR issue. We did our homework, we filed an open request, and it was successful. And I also tapped a resident land use historian, of whom you may be aware, a gentleman named Bill Hollows, who tends to keep all of the old ordinances, which is very nice and handy. So what we established, and I do have copies of some of the things that we received through the OPA that I'd like to pass out, will mark as exhibits. The first is the original site plan for this particular lot when the home was originally built, actually prepared by Mr. Hollows, in fact. And if I may, I'd like to mark that as Exhibit A1.
And what's the date on that one?
Date is April 14, 1999, last revision, May 1, 2000.
And it's how many pages?
3 pages.
3-page exhibit? Okay. And it's, I'm sorry, it's a variance plan?
No, this is a site plan for the original, the site and grading plan for the original home when it was constructed.
With a lot grading plan, I guess.
Let me see what he exactly.
Would have been a site plan application for a residential.
It's labeled on the title block as plot plan.
Plot plan, okay.
At the time, it was lot 16.02, block 111.
Thank you.
And what I'd like to do is hand these out if I may.
Thanks.
Second is
You'll off the bottom of the deck.
3 pages of the original building plans from Robert Coleman, architect, from the same, obviously from the same time period. The date is September 10, 1999, and it looks like a revision date of May 5, 2000.
This is A2, the architectural plan?
Architectural plans, 3 pages of them, it's a large packet. And it's by Robert E. Coleman, architect.
Gary, you have an extra set?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
May I mark that as A2? And lastly, I'd like to submit what I indicated Mr. Hollis has provided me from his archives. This is the bulk requirements schedule table, if you want to call it, which it does not have a date on it. I can give you some hearsay. Mr. Hollis tells me it's from 1997, which I understand would have been the last pivotal ordinance date before the 2008 ordinance that went into effect, giving you an FAR ordinance for the first time. The significance of this, you'll see it does jive with Mr. Hollow's zoning schedule on A1. And Mark, this is A3?
And that's how many pages?
Just one page.
Just one page?
So what we've ascertained from these documents is that as of the zoning schedule marked as A3, if you look for R3 zone, there is in fact no floor area ratio given. As a matter of fact, there is none for any of the residential zones at that time. And if you look at second page of A1, you'll see Mr. Hollow's zoning schedule from the original site plan. And all the items are listed as would be listed today, except for FAR, for the simple reason it didn't exist back then.
So if I may, your proper is that the square footage that's listed on the plans commensurate with the square footage of the floor area of the home as constructed back in the 99 timeframe, there has been no increase in the floor area ever since?
Right, and I will confirm that with Mr. Patel in his testimony. Obviously, he can only testify from his ownership. We did, however, provide aerial shots of the property dating back to 2000 era, or obviously when the house was built. And you can see from those shots, and the reason I added one more page to A2 is to give you a front elevation. To show basically this is the same house we have now. So for purposes of establishing a threshold, if you look at the second page of A2, and I'll bring this out through Mr. Castrid, just for the record. We have first floor square footage given, second floor square footage given, and I'm gonna rely on Ms. Laney and/or Mr. Castro to let me know whether garages count in Long Hill Township for FAR. They're above grade, so
I don't believe so. Let me double check.
so it's either going to be the sum of the first two numbers or the sum of the three numbers. We're just, above grade is required in this town, so basement does not count.
It does not. Garages are excluded.
Okay. So we'll have Mr. Castro do the math for us as to those first two numbers.
So again, Mr. Chairman, if I may, thank you. As I understand the proffer, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Zelli, I take it the contention is that the floor area ratio exceedance, whatever the number is, which we'll get to momentarily, pre-existed the enactment in 2008 of the floor area ratio ordinance applicable to this residential zone, or for that matter, perhaps to all residential zones. And therefore, the contention is that the applicant would not be required to obtain floor area ratio relief because the ordinance, the exceedance existed prior to the adoption of the ordinance. Is that essentially the contention?
Correct. It's our contention it's a pre-existing non-conforming situation.
Which is a much more succinct way of saying it, but I thought I'd explain it just in case there was anybody who wanted to understand what that pre-existing non-conforming means.
I was just summing up.
There you go, good enough. And I also take it then that we're going to get an actual square footage floor area determination to be made, so that in the event the board concurs and finds it to be a pre-existing nonconformity, and in the event there's an approval of the application, the board will, through its attorney, memorializing same in a resolution, for posterity's sake, will have a square footage existing such that it is sort of the floor or barometer, if you will, so that we would know if and when there was additional square footage added, which at that point, as long as there's still a floor area ratio ordinance in effect, would require FAR relief, which is a D4 variance, correct?
Correct, and we agree with that strategy completely.
Thank you.
Okay. Should we address that?
You want to do that first?
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, let's get that issue over with.
Mr. Castro, you're under oath?
I am.
Let me show you what's
Oh,
been marked.
you better get him, yes.
Yeah, what is he being proffered for? What
That's
kind of
fair.
expert?
We're starting from scratch. All right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mr. Castro, would you please give the board the benefit of your educational and professional background, please?
Certainly. My name is Chris Castrud, K-A-S-T-R-U-D. I graduated from Tufts University with Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, magna cum laude. I have 12 credits towards Water Resources Engineering degree from Rutgers University. I am a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. I'm a certified zoning official, certified municipal construction inspector, certified asphalt technologist, and municipal engineer. I'm the owner of Castrud Engineering. I've appeared before dozens of boards in the northern part of the state, one time down in Ocean County, but I tend to stay above 195. I'm currently the township engineer in Warren Township and have been for 20 years. I also represent their planning board and board of adjustment.
And your testimony tonight is as an engineer? 'cause
As
I
a
know you have
professional
the-
engineer.
Right, okay.
And my
You
license.
mentioned those other credentials, I just want to make sure.
Right.
Okay. Yes, we accept you as an expert.
Thank you.
Mr. Castro, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit A2 for identification. I have it turned to the second page. I'll ask Mr. Patel to hand it to you, please. And you were present for the dialogue a moment ago as to trying to establish a threshold FAR for future purposes.
I have.
Based upon Exhibit A2, would you please give your professional opinion as to what that number would be?
Based on the Exhibit A2, including only the first floor and second floor, as the garage is not included, we calculated 4,243 square feet.
Thank you very much. Unless there's questions for Mr. Castro, what I would
Well,
ask...
the one question I do have is of Mr. Patel. How long have you had the house now?
Since 2012.
And you yourself have not made any additions to the square footage of the floor area? Okay.
No.
Upon purchasing it from the prior owner, were you made aware of any additions to the square footage of the building?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair.
You're probably going to ask the same question
Yeah.
I have,
Yeah.
but go ahead, Liz,
So,
because we
so
looked at each
if
other.
the FAR is 4,243, you're actually under the maximum
Yes.
permitted.
If that's the correct number, you wouldn't need an FAR.
Okay.
A variance.
Well, that was
even
a
if it
waste of
not
time.
pre-existing. So,
Yeah, how did we come up
but
Is it because you
are
took
we
the
sure that's
over?
the right number,
Yeah.
Liz?
But what is the number that they would
They
have to?
can get up to 4,846.
Oh, so they have about 600 to go, or a little under 600 to go.
Apparently.
When
Okay.
we
Yeah, a little
included the
more.
garage,
It-
we were up over
Oh,
5,100
you
square
included the
feet.
garage?
Is the garage over 600 square feet?
Yeah,
It's large.
Ah,
yeah. Okay, so there lies the conundrum.
So they actually don't need.
Okay, okay, never mind.
well, now- you may not need an FAR variance for two reasons.
Yeah.
But, you know, Mr. Zelli, we appreciate your diligence and your thoroughness.
So can we put the application to add another 600 square feet?
No. Not tonight.
No, you can't build anything now, no. But you do have that little bit of,
I am looking something up because...
but, you know, it's always good to clear up those things, because now we know the garages aren't included.
Actually, while we're waiting, I have a question, if you don't mind. I'm looking at your drawing here regarding the maximum lot coverage. You're saying the allowed is 20%, existing is 22.8. Exhibit A2 indicates that the maximum, the lot coverage at that time was 19.56, which would have been compliant. Your drawings are now showing it as non-compliant. Can you explain what the difference is?
We're going to have to, I will bring this out through Mr. Patel, but let me just give you a highlight of where we're going to go. He will testify, as he did the first time, that they have not done anything to increase coverage. The aerial shots bear out that what's there now has been there since long before their ownership. A quick glance at Mr. Hollow's drawing, original plot plan A2, sorry,
If you look at this picture.
A1. Compared to the current aerial shots, you see, that, for instance, the front sidewalk is much larger. Stepping stones are shown on the original plan.
I'm sorry, front sidewalk larger.
The current front sidewalk.
Right.
Yeah.
Part of the increase from 19 and change to 22.8 presumably was the sidewalk, correct?
If you look at the first page of A1, you'll just see there's stepping stones only there. Mr. Castro, the current plan shows a substantial sidewalk, am I right?
It does. The pavers and porch are much larger than what the original.
I'm sorry, can you take the mic, Mr. Castro?
Yeah, yeah, that would be helpful. Because what you're saying was not on the records.
Looking at A1, which was Mr. Hollow's original plot plan, the front porch is roughly the same size as what's shown currently. The big difference in the front is the paver walkway that leads out to the driveway.
And I realize you don't have exact measurements in front of you, but in your opinion, comparing the two, do you believe that that 2.8 or whatever it is that we're over at this point would be attributed largely, if not entirely, to that sidewalk?
That's hard to say without actually doing math.
And of course, the follow-up question is, if not, do you see anything else between the two?
One small sidewalk at the rear from the back of the driveway out to the covered patio. There's a walkway there that wasn't on the original plot plan. And it could be that the stepping stones weren't even included in the original. I don't have a breakdown of what Mr. Hollow's included in his calculations.
You actually do, on page 2 of
Oh, do I?
A1, yep. The center there at the bottom.
I'm sorry, page 2 of which exhibit?
A1?
A1, okay.
There actually are a number of discrepancies, so it might just be helpful, just because it may not be an existing non-conforming. Yeah.
We can, it's the best we can do, since Mr. Patel obviously didn't own it at the time, to know what he...
No, but
Right.
I'm just to make sure that, because, he has the house at 3509, and you have it at 3279. So it would just be helpful.
Yeah. And it looks like he has a slightly different arrangement on his plan for that rear porch and the covered patio. So if we add those two together with the building and the covered porch, covered patio, that may be close to what Mr. Hollow's has.
Oh, the other thing is the playhouse. Did you add the playhouse?
We do have the playhouse.
But was that added by?
Obviously, I don't think it was,
the applicant?
no.
It wasn't, okay.
It wasn't on the original, obviously.
Yeah, no, because it's not on the original, so
Right.
yeah. And that's,
And actually, that's something, again, we're starting afresh, so I'll state it again. That was included in my addendum, but that was an error on my part. I confirmed with Mr. Patel that that was not something they added. That
Okay.
was already there as well when they purchased.
right.
I'll bring that up with him.
You don't rent that out, right? No bathroom?
No,
So it could be that Mr. Hollow's calculations in 1999 may not be
Accurate.
accurate.
Well, no, 1999 was
in
accurate.
99. They were accurate in 94.
Yeah, they were accurate when that house was built because of the no play, different walkway, no playhouse.
Well,
I would note that this is just a plot plan. This is
Right.
not an as-built survey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
all
So
right.
this was what he intended
To have built.
on
We don't know
property.
whether it was built that way or built with
Right.
that sidewalk, right?
If it was an
That's right.
as-built from 1990
Okay,
or
all right,
2000,
gotcha.
that would probably give you the most
Yeah.
accurate
And we don't have anything in
comparison,
between.
but this is what he intended. Was it approved with a little bit bigger of a walkway?
Okay.
For
So we don't have
example,
anything in
like,
between the 2002 and this
Correct. The
original?
current plan also accounts for, the concrete pads for the AC units. Those
Right.
weren't on Bell Hollow's
Obviously.
original plan, but that's something
Yeah.
that's,
Every little bit counts.
customary. Exactly. So if you kind of start to add in all those little things that, I guess they didn't
Right.
look at with a fine-tooth comb back then, it kind of starts to add up. And
So the big question is, what is the square foot area, what is the ground coverage, what will it be with your proposed patio?
And obviously, we'll be getting into that, because
Yeah.
that's the main event. What I would just procedurally, I would like to have a final determination. If the final determination is that we don't need to address FAR at all, I'm obviously perfectly fine with that.
Well, according to our planner, is that your conclusion?
If it is indeed 4,243, then they do not.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's something that,
Do we have any reason to believe that it's not 4,243 square feet, based upon the plans that were provided? Not looking back at what Mr. Hollow's original client intended to build, that he may or may not have, but what we know is built from what the current plans. Because that's the key. If the number is below the FAR threshold, then whether it's pre-existing or not, the board doesn't even have to make that determination. It's not over right now.
right.
What I can do, I have, so I pull out the phone, I'm not being rude. I did take pictures not only of these, but I have the as-built for the construction plans. If you can bear with me one moment, I can probably answer that question. I believe they were identical, but I'll double check.
But they've submitted plans. You have the square footage now, don't you? What currently exists?
No, I have what is the footprint.
Original, right.
Oh, only the footprint, but not the
Yeah,
actual square.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the footprint includes the garage,
right.
Right.
which isn't in the floor area.
I think it was, what was the assumption that you took the foundation and multiplied it by 2 for 2 floors, but clearly the second floor is a little bit smaller.
Right, right.
May I ask,
Whether I-
frame
what-
playhouse that's shown on this exhibit, is that being included?
Not, well,
Not for
floor area
not for
ratio.
floor
I would
area.
assume
It's
not.
not a living area.
Lot
Yeah.
okay.
That's why I said it has no bathroom, so it's not, you can't live in it.
Okay, fair enough, thank you.
Garage is to the left over here. It's got a room over it. Yes, the garage has got a room over it, but you don't count the garage area. Supposedly. Yeah. Second point.
I'm also looking for the CO because I'm sorry, the jacket had the dimension, had the square footage on it.
Did you get that information from our office?
From the construction department through an open request.
Oh, do you have that file, Deborah? No, okay.
Construction.
Oh, I didn't know if you had got
I'm
it.
sorry, it's actually on one of your exhibits, with the architecture.
That would be the proposed, though, right?
Yeah, first floor and second floor, yeah.
Yeah, from whenever you're.
So the
Oh, but that was,
the construction jacket
Not as-
itself
Oh, okay. Excellent.
indicates largest floor 3,178. The next entry on the pre-printed permit jacket is new building area, which it shows as 5,989,
That includes the garage.
but that probably includes the garage.
Which is, well, you don't know what that is? 'Cause we have it on here, on the.
Garage is 873.
Yeah.
What about the room above it?
Oh, that would be the second floor. That would still be, that would be second floor,
Is it
1,000.
counted as that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The garage is just the first floor. So you're still under it if you
I know.
subtract the 800 from that.
Because the max is 48 and change.
Well, 5,000 minus 873 is less than
551.
Yeah, those numbers would put it over, yeah.
No.
No, the numbers on the proposed would put it over the maximum permitted.
On the,
Numbers that Mr. Zelli just read from the construction.
would put it
plan
over.
Put it
Yeah,
over
yeah,
far.
because it's still over 5,000, right?
Yeah,
What was on the architectural plans to be built is under.
right.
This
So
is
it's
confusing.
A little bit of a disconnect.
Yes.
Just so we're clear, what's on the jacket is the total area of the house, whereas the floor area is, after that was approved, deducted the garage.
Correct. But if we take those numbers from the construction jacket and subtract roughly what the garage is, about 800, 850,
It's still
even
over.
850,
Still over.
even 900, you're still over.
Oh, okay.
Even if you're a little bit generous in saying the garage is bigger than we think it is.
I think that was time Fred to get out a tape measure.
It's about the only thing I haven't done yet. By the way, the application's about a patio.
I know that, I know. Really?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Doing my best, folks.
But just so we're clear, even if it's over, I think these documents are attempting to demonstrate that the condition was approved prior to the adoption of that particular ordinance.
Right, right, yes. It's same.
We're
same
grandfathered
issue.
either way. What we're
Yeah.
trying to do is establish a number,
A
which is
base
getting harder and harder
number,
to do.
so that going forward, we know what it is.
Yeah.
And we know if somebody wants to come and change it in the future, we know what we're starting with. You know, and that's the issue. I mean, yes.
Lot coverage.
Wouldn't, I mean, maybe I can ask, sorry. Is the second floor larger than the first floor? I would assume.
Shouldn't be.
No, if anything, it'd be the other way around.
But it.
Well, no,
is-
actually, if you
Because
subtract the
if you subtract the
garage, it would probably
garage-
be a little bit bigger.
Do you have living space above the garage?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the foyer
Living
is open.
space?
Then,
Well, that's what I'm saying,
The
is the
foyer
second
is
floor, I assume, is
not
bigger than
second floor, is a two-story foyer.
The second
the
floor goes over
the
the
foyer is a
garage.
the 2-story foyer, but you do have living space above the garage, so.
Oh, so
yeah.
it might,
Yeah, it
Yeah,
kind of evens out.
Can I make a suggestion on this?
Yes.
Would it be possible to have a
Condition
condition
of
that the
approval,
construction
to get the
department
exact-
will come up with a number, and then that can be entered into the resolution or something
Okay,
along
fine.
along those lines?
It appears, though, that it would be prudent to demonstrate, if you can, and maybe you already have, I don't know, I can't read the board's mind, a pre-existing nonconformity, because it appears as if the floor area ratio that presently exists may well be in excess of the maximum permitted.
Right. so
But the
that's-
point is, it did exist when the house was built, which is predates the
Pre-exist,
ordinance.
Right.
Right.
So I think you
So
have to
it's-
make that argument. We can't get away with the, it's not over argument. It appears
you
as
don't
if
know
it may
yet.
well be over. So I think you have to make that argument.
I think it's much safer to go ahead and
Second floor is the smaller because there is a family room, it is also two-story, and the floor also two-story.
procedurally, I agree. I think it's better to have the finding that we have a pre-existing non-conforming, whatever number it is, because.
And you will come up with the exact number.
As a
uh,
condition of
condition. Yeah, to have a base number for your floor,
Okay.
square floor area ratio.
It appears as if it could be in the neighborhood of 5,100 square feet or so, and hence certainly could be above 4,846. So therefore, prudence would dictate you make the argument. It's a
So the condition is that we have a
pre-existing
professional go in and actually come up with a
Yeah.
current number, just so we're clear.
Right.
It's the current existing situation.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fine.
Which appears to be what was built back then. I mean, the way it was built.
As best we've got plans that say one thing and the jacket which says something else.
Yeah,
and
but we
they're
have no evidence.
Substantially different, so.
We have no evidence the house was expanded or any way changed since it was
No
built.
indication of that, not only, Mr. Patel certainly knows he did not do it.
And there's
And
no
again, if you
evidence
look
of any
back at the
construction
aerial
permits.
shots, you see there's.
Yeah, and no evidence of any construction permits that anybody pulled.
No, I pulled all of those. It was just, replacement of water heater, stuff like that, no
Good,
additions.
okay, well, that would,
Finished basement, but that wouldn't apply to FARs.
right, okay. So that sounds like, all right, so let's address that issue. Do we have any questions concerning that issue before we opine on that? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I would suggest a
Yeah.
straw poll,
All right, okay, I was gonna do that.
and then it could be incorporated into the ultimate vote.
All right, Ben, do you want to start?
No?
That's an honest answer.
Come on.
We're
Yeah.
just polling on whether or not the
Right, yes.
pre-existing
Right,
non-conforming,
yes,
if we approve it on a straw poll
Yeah.
basis. Yeah, I approve.
okay. All right, you feel that it is it was a pre-existing?
Oh, yeah.
That he's shown it
Yeah, I
was
don't, yeah,
pre-existing?
I think
Okay.
the evidence showed that it's
Yeah.
pre-existing, it wasn't.
Whatever the number is, it was pre-existing, okay. Gary?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Tom?
I'm confused by the room over the garage, because if the garage is 800 plus square feet, and it might have been built out, and then it might have been built out with, at the initial building, and then added, or doorway added, that the.
Well, right now, we have no evidence that there was any work done after the construction of the original house. There was no permits pulled to do any work on it afterwards, interior-wise.
How many people have done work without permits?
I realize that, but all we can do is show what the record shows.
Right.
So, based on that, we're assuming that the house was built with the square footage it currently has, which wouldn't be pre-existing.
And
Based on that.
We're gonna have construction department over there, right? So if they concur, I'm fine.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I agree. I believe the construction area that's shown existed prior to the ordinance.
Okay.
I agree that the evidence presented established that it was a pre-existing condition.
Scott?
I do agree.
Jonathan?
I concur.
Okay. So do I. I said, with the condition that you come up with an actual number, I sincerely believe the house was built like that back in the 90s, did not change since then that we know of, that we have evidence of. No one made it bigger, smaller, or any other way changed it. So I would say that you have a pre-existing non-conforming floor area ratio number.
And based upon that predicate determination by the board, then you do not need to proceed to establish an entitlement to a D4 floor area ratio variance. I believe all that you need to approve for approval by the board is the lot coverage deviation, which is a bulk variance, majority 4 out of 7 for passage, and the C1 or C2 criteria.
Okay. So do I hear a motion to approve that the applicant has a pre-existing non-conforming floor area of, what is that?
Of a pre-existing non-conforming floor area ratio, but I think
We
by
don't need
virtue of the poll, we've
Okay,
pretty
fine.
much.
I just want to make it sure it's
accomplished that.
legit. That's,
Sure.
okay, then we don't need that. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
On to the C.
Patio?
On to the patio, finally.
patio.
Onto the-
Pull up the chairs and let's sit on the patio. All right.
Even though we're starting afresh this evening, we did pay attention to the board's comments at the first hearing, and we recognized, and our clients recognized, that the patio was quite large and that might cause some concern amongst the board. As a result, they went back, spoke with Mr. Castrud, and Mr. Castrud did put together a revised plan that we're going to mark as an exhibit.
Oh, boy, you have lots of exhibits today, don't you?
Yes, very exhibity night.
I think we're up to A4.
Yeah.
That would be A4.
Can't provide evidence.
Just to be clear, we have not seen this plan.
No,
yet.
we haven't.
have not.
Do we have an extra mic down here? It seems that he's missing a
We're
mic.
sharing over here. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, but I think, wait a minute. Yeah,
We don't have a jack.
yeah, we do.
plug
That,
in?
this one's mine. That one's
okay.
yours.
We can all go
This one's yours. There we go. I knew we had a missing mic here. Okay, good.
I get a switch?
All right, now you don't have to share.
Mr. Chair?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
I guess it would be for the homeowner. Is there a third floor walk-up attic in your home?
Yes,
Is it a fixed stairway or a pull-down type of
no,
situation?
fixed.
Fixed, okay.
Yeah, but that's not a living area.
Is it finished up there?
I'm sorry?
Is it a
Is it
finished
finished
living area or is it
fixed
just open attic?
No, it's finished. It has a floor.
But
It has a
finished
floor, but
meaning,
does it have finished sheetrock walls and doors
Yeah.
and rooms? Is it occupied and used?
No, nobody's using it.
Is it storage area?
Yeah, kind
Are
of.
there closets and things like that?
No.
Bedrooms?
speak up, sir, even though you have a mic, speak up.
No, nothing. It's a storage area.
Okay.
Is there heating and air conditioning to that
No.
area?
Okay, so it's not heated or air conditioned?
No.
Okay.
Do we, if I may, Mr. Chairman, just out of curiosity, do we know the height of that area?
Yeah,
Or the floor area of that area.
well, the height makes a
The
difference.
height, might, yeah, it might be relevant to whether
Yeah.
or not it could even constitute floor area.
Okay.
Do you know the highest point of the attic?
And I'll defer to our engineer or
Floor area.
planner, but usually it's around 7 feet or so, or
7.5.
7.5 feet, thank you, thank you.
Do you think it's a 7.5-foot height or lower, from your judgment?
I think it's 7.5, 8 feet.
The attic space,
Yeah,
in the highest point?
in the highest point.
center.
But
yeah.
does it curve? Does it come down?
Yeah, it's
or-
like goes like this, and then some area
Dormer.
you have to bend it.
Oh, okay, so it's not a consistent 7.5? it's
No,
just a
no, no,
peak?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
A half story, if that's what we're looking at here, is any finished space under a gable, hip, gable, or other sloping roof, which has a ceiling height of 7.5 feet or more, for no more than 50% of its total area. Any space with a ceiling height of 7.5 feet or more, over the 50% of its area shall be considered a full story. So
Okay, so if that's only in the peak area, it probably wouldn't be 50%.
doesn't
but-
sound like that would be.
But it,
the
but
case
it
at
would
all.
qualify as a half, right?
No, it would not.
No.
But it said, I thought if it's over 50, then it's a full story. If it's under 50, then it's a half.
Sounds like it qualifies for
I think it
half.
qualifies
Yeah, I
as
think
half.
it's a half.
Half? All right, read that again, just to make sure.
Which has a ceiling height of 7.5 feet or more for no more than 50% of its total floor area. So
That-
yes, if it's 7.5 feet or more for more than 50%, it's a full story. If it's
Right.
7.5 feet for less than 50%,
It's a half.
it's a half.
Okay.
If you just have 7.5 feet in the middle, it's really neither, because it would be under 7.5 feet.
Okay.
You know what I mean, at the high point,
Yeah,
if it's.
right.
And if it's a full story, then it gets counted to floor area.
But half,
Right.
half stories do not.
No,
Okay.
absolutely do not.
Okay,
So it's a half story either way, it doesn't count.
right, doesn't count. Good, all right.
Long way of
You
getting.
don't have to measure that, Mrs. Tully. I want to see you on your hands and knees with the measurement.
A4 is the plans with the,
So what I'd like to do is mark the full-size plan of Mr. Castridge as A4. I'm going to pass out an 11 by 17 sheet. It has a blow-up of the actual diagram portion of A4, and I've marked it A4A, just for exhibit purposes.
and again, A4 is what, Mr. Castro? And give us the last revised date as well, please.
Yep, A4 is the sheet 1 of 2, the plot development plan. Original date was October 7th, 2021. The revision date is June 6th, 2022.
Thank you, got it.
Mr. Castridge, since we're
And
introducing...
what was
an-
handed out, just for, to be clear for the record, is A4A,
Correct.
which is the enlarged version, if you will,
Inset.
blown-up version of that.
Partial version of that.
Partial.
Without the numbers on it. And what's the size difference? I guess you're getting to that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Former, okay, I see it, it's on there. Okay, I just wanted him to,
Yeah, you know, it's helping us.
okay, say cut off that portion.
So is it now down from 2,014 71 square feet?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's,
All right, what I'd like to do, instead of having Mr. Patel testify first, as we were starting to do the last time, Mr. Castro, I'm going to have you go through the whole site plan.
Sure.
Show the differences, please, between what's included in the application package and what we're proposing now.
you put 2,000.
And then after that, I'll have Mr. Patel testify to the board as to what the patio is going to be used for and things of that nature.
Okay. At the risk of being a little reiterative, this property is located at the end of Waverly Avenue, at the northerly end. There was some discussion last time about our north arrow that's been corrected on this exhibit A4. North arrow correctly is on the plan from left to right. You can see on the middle left part of the plan, you can see Waverly Avenue, and this is located in the northwestern part of Waverly, with the township of Long Hill owning land both behind to the west and also to the north. There was discussion about there was one adjoining property owner to the south and another one just slightly to the west, both of which have not expressed any concerns at this point. So the property is also Block 12203, Lot 16.02. I think we've discussed the existing conditions. There's an existing single-family home with a paver driveway, front porch, covered patio in the back, and the homeowner would like to expand the outdoor living area, take advantage of the open space the Long Hill has in the back, and just be able to enjoy the outdoors. I don't remember if the testimony was that both your mother-in-law and mother are both living with you, and they'd like to be on the outside. In the past 2 years with the pandemic, it limited the exploration downtown into parks, into public spaces. So this was desired to be able to provide more of an outdoor living space for his family. We had originally talked to the landscape architect who came in, showed us a sketch, came up with 2,000 square feet of patio. We put it on our plans. It was slightly less. He said, well, I'm still going to make it 2,000 square feet. So that's why you can see in all of our calculations, we show 2,000. However, on this exhibit, the actual engineering number was 1848. You can see it shown in red.
So it's now down to 1471.
And it is now down to 1471, which is the hatched area shown in red. That was through discussions with the homeowner, with Mr. Patel, saying that he could live with that area being a small seating area over on the southern area. And then the grill in another area, there was discussion about a swing, not a kid swing, but a adult sitting hanging swing at the northerly end. That's generally from an impervious coverage and overlay on top of the existing ground. That's what's there. From a grading standpoint,
If I may, Mr. Chairman, before you do, while you're on the number of the square footage that's been reduced to 1471 square feet, can you give us a corresponding percentage for lot coverage? So we can.
Ask him that.
What's that?
I was just going to ask him that.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Well, great minds.
the lot area is 30,766 total. So the 2,000 square feet that we originally had on our plan, that's 6.5%, 6.50%. The 1,500 square
That's what
feet,
brought you
which
up
was
to the 29.3 proposed, but it's actually lower now.
So what's the
That's
new number?
right.
It's down
It's
from
20
29.3 to what?
27.6, yeah, it's 27.
27.6.
Yeah.
And what's the allowed?
20.
20, okay, I wasn't sure, because some are 25, so just 20, okay. All right, so you're
So
over.
it still exceeds the over. I mean,
Right.
we're over now, and with anything that we do, it's going to increase. So from a grading standpoint, the property does slope from the home and the covered patio out toward the northwest. There's maybe 4 to 5 feet by the time you get to the back property corner, about 6 feet. But in the area of just the patio, it's about 2.5 feet. So we will need a small retaining wall.
How high would that be?
Knee-high, 2 feet. We're going to design the grading at the bottom of the wall. Now that we've pulled it away from the patio, or the playhouse, we have a little bit more room between where the playhouse is and the actual patio, where we can lower the wall and not have this big monolith of
So because
patio
you
in
drew
the
it in,
back.
it's not as high anymore, the wall?
Right.
Okay.
You discuss your stormwater management?
We did have a chance to review both letters, both from Ms. Anello and Ms. Lahaney. And Ms. Anello's report brings up storage of some sort of stormwater detention. We've shown that on the plans, slightly modified the geometry on the exhibit, just turned the dry well system to be slightly farther from the patio itself. But we will comply with the 3 items. They're in the May 27th letter. I think it was items 1B, I, 2I, and 3I, just the sizing of the stone, the voids.
Is the Is the dry well sizing going to remain the same as originally proposed, or is it going to be redesigned based on the slightly smaller square footage?
We would design it based on the new square
The
footage.
new square footage, so. And then, of course, taking into consideration all these items here, which are requirements of the lot grading ordinance,
Yes.
stone size, void ratio, all of
Correct.
that. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
So am I correct, Samantha, number one is going to be complied with as drafted by you? There's no, but
Yes,
there's no
that is the
change in the
test-
condition?
No, the testimony is that he will comply with that condition.
Okay.
And I believe the testimony is that you would comply with conditions 2 and 3 as well. One is simply for a construction detail of that paver patio system.
That's right.
And the third one is regarding proposed contours and grading, which he does show on this concept plan that we received tonight. There is some spot elevations and some grading shown, and the discussion was that there would be about a 2-foot high knee wall, which I concur, that looks like that would fit in well. Would there be any restraining device above it?
Railings or anything?
There would, I think it's 3 risers is the limit to when you need to have retaining walls, right? It's 3 risers. Did somebody just concur?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So 3 risers is 2 feet,
Yeah.
if they're 8 inches each. So if it needs to have it, then the construction department's going to require us to put some sort of railing around the top. But I think the idea here is not to box in, but just to open up.
This is a rear yard, so the maximum height is 6 feet, so I don't think that you're going to exceed 6 feet with the 2-foot wall plus a restraint above it. Would you concur with that?
Yes.
So, in Long Hill, the variance is the combined height, so anything above the wall is considered part of the wall height.
Understood.
So
Heard a
just
little
wanna
of that
make sure
testimony at
yeah,
the last meeting.
That's right. So I just want to make sure that you don't need a wall height variance based on that technicality, and it doesn't seem like that is the case.
Correct.
All right, great. And then my fourth comment was, is a soil erosion and sediment control permit going to be required for this application?
At this point, no. It would be an exemption. We're well under the 5,000 square feet of disturbance.
Okay, great, thank you.
I have a
However,
question.
if it turns out that we're over the 5,000, we'll certainly have to get it. That's
The
just,
condition will read, the
Yeah.
either or anyway. so.
That playhouse, who put that there?
It was there, well, I'll bring that, Mr. Patel, but it was there when they bought it.
Is that currently being used or needed?
I'll bring that out.
Okay.
Sure. Mr. Kester, did you also have occasion to go through Ms. Laney's June 2nd, 2022 report?
I did.
And would you go through anything, is there anything with which we cannot comply?
I think there's really only one
No, there was just one was,
comment about landscaping, so I
Yep.
think the question is, what are you doing, if anything?
You putting bushes around it or any kind of,
the homeowner hasn't decided. He does have a landscaper, not a landscape architect, but a landscaper hired to do this project. I just don't know the extent of the landscaping that was proposed as part of the project.
I just have one additional question,
What?
actually. How many stairs are leading from the covered patio to the new patio? How many steps, I mean?
yeah, because it isn't quite clear on the plans.
The patio, the top of the patio is elevation 103.41, and the grade at the bottom, 100.40. I don't have my glasses, I'm sorry. I think it's 100.40 at the concrete landing. So that's roughly 3 feet. So how many risers? 336, 8, it's like 4.5 risers.
And the reason I'm asking is, because if one of your main reasons for requesting the expanded patio is for what I'm presuming are elderly people. And I was just considering, has there been any consideration towards providing access to the patio without them having to go down steps? Yeah, I mean, or some other, I mean.
All right, so let's, if you can, you're under oath, so you can speak into the microphone on that.
So on the south side of the patio, because of the grading of the land, is only one step over there, on the south side of the patio.
Okay, so that's toward the left side of your house as you're looking down at it.
Yeah, if I'm facing the house, it's gonna be on the left side.
Okay. So that would be a one step down to the patio?
Yeah, and because it's the grading is going down, then more you going towards to the north.
Just
Do you
Lenny,
need-
was your question getting from the home to the patio or getting off the patio?
Off the patio.
Yeah, it was more just providing access to elderly people, and whether if there would be a ramp or if there was some consideration or.
You mean from the covered patio
Yeah,
down to the uncovered?
Yes, or just any way, actually, any access to the patio. That's really my question, for people who may have mobility issues.
And there is, and on the south side of the patio, there is no steps because of the grading. So the, both elderly can go south and get into the patio.
And is there a door there from the home to that southern area? How do you get from the house out to there?
So there is a garage has the door.
There's a man door in the garage?
Yeah, on the side, there is a door on the garage.
Okay, that was my question.
Then I will ask Mr. Patel about landscaping, and then I believe that's all I have for Mr. Castro.
I have a few questions. What are the dimensions of the revised patio, the size?
Yeah, that's
We haven't put the exact dimensions on the plan.
Can you approximate its size?
Sure.
Your drawing's to scale, right?
It is. It's 20 scale. I'm not sure that the drawings that you had that were printed out
They're
as a
not to
partial
scale.
are to scale. Oh, fantastic.
Do you need your glasses?
No, I can actually get this. Thanks. Off the back right corner of the house, which is the northwest corner of the house, it extends out 35 feet. At the very southerly portion, it extends out 20 feet, and it runs along the rear setback line. That's the line that we used to end the patio, was 73 feet.
So 73 feet by 35 feet?
That's right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's not an exact rectangle, but,
yeah,
yep.
on the larger side. And then in terms of the pavers, can you describe what kind of pavers are going to be used, and have you considered pervious pavers?
We did discuss that at the last meeting. We haven't had a determination from the landscaper at this point. I don't know the model, the make and the model of what he was proposing to use, but we did have a brief discussion after the last meeting saying we might be able to use permeable pavers and allow the water just to go through, use the storage bed underneath. Since we have to fill anyway about 2 feet, there may be enough room with stone underneath the patio to store the stormwater and not have to do the dry wells.
Right, well, that's kind of pertinent to
Yeah.
how the board would decide this.
Just to note that it wouldn't
But-
change the impervious coverage calculation. If they
Understood,
were-
but it would possibly affect how
Right,
the water is.
when he would go for his lot grading approval,
Right.
if that was the case, instead of dry wells, he would be using the system in lieu of the dry wells, but they would effectively do the same thing. They would have the same storage volume, whether it's underneath the pervious paver system or whether it's within the dry wells.
Right, but I mean,
So it's one system or another is what he's,
from your experience, which system holds up longer, lasts longer, and actually has a better longevity effect?
from a maintenance perspective,
Yeah.
I would say the dry wells themselves.
Okay.
Permeable pavers have a higher degree of maintenance. Dry wells are fairly simple to maintain
Okay,
over.
so in the long run, the dry wells may be more efficient and long-lasting.
Longevity, I can't speak to, they probably won't last the same amount of time, but from a maintenance perspective, I think the dry wells would be an easier stormwater device to maintain, that
Okay.
would have less issues and would function properly for a longer period of
Right,
time.
that's what I
It would
mean.
last the same, length
Okay.
of time, but.
But if you don't
functionality
maintain the
is-
pavers on the patio, they could potentially not
Correct, and the
not do
dry
what they
well
need to
would
do.
likely last longer from a
Okay.
functional standpoint.
Okay.
As a follow-up question to that, I think you had mentioned that you intend to reduce the size of the stormwater basin based on the reduced size of the proposed patio.
Right.
So I guess my question is why? Because as we've already seen from the documents, there tends to be lot creep. It seems to be that lot area gets added without anyone knowing why. So being that we're already starting over lot coverage, I'm just curious as to why we're minimizing the potential stormwater management, considering that there's already demonstrated to be lot coverage creep at this site.
It's a good question. The answer solely is that we're not aware of any runoff or drainage issues on the site currently. Mr. Patel is friendly with his neighbor. He knows that there's nothing here. In fact, this water comes towards him, and then it runs off into the township property. So we're not aware of any drainage issues currently that we would say, okay, this lot creep of impervious coverage has created adverse conditions on adjoining properties, and we need to fix it. So,
Is there any
increase-
ponding or puddling on the property directly to the north east, where you said it goes off onto? You know, upper.
None that I've seen. I haven't walked the entire property, so I can't say yes or no.
I mean, obviously,
From
if it's coming from his property to the north and goes across his property, what's it doing after it does that? You know, once it leaves there.
I guess a follow-up question is there a harm in oversizing a stormwater system?
No, there's no harm to that, and that could be done.
It's already been drawn up with the original expectation of a 2,000 square foot, if not an 1,848 square foot patio, correct?
2,000, right.
Yeah.
With the applicant stipulated as condition of approval, should the board so desire to have the
Leave it there.
stormwater management as originally proposed?
Are you okay with keeping the dry well the same size, even though we're going to reduce the?
Yeah, no problem.
That's a benefit to everybody, because it
Right.
serves to, all right. Any other questions of their expert?
What exists to the north of this property? Is there another house?
No, to the north is just the Long Hill
Well, then.
Township. Whoop.
No,
I thought that was north.
I thought I had an aerial. I don't have my
or-
aerial.
I'm sorry. I thought that was the northwest area was the township property. I'm talking about directly, to the right.
That would be to the left
Right.
of the house, looking at the house.
Right. Exists.
In this area?
No, on the other side.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh,
This is Township of Long Hill property.
within-
So it's,
right,
it's open space
right.
It is,
at the back and at the side as well?
correct. And then there's another neighborhood just to the west,
Yeah.
and those and those homes, their rear yards back up to these rear yards.
Right, yeah, this is-
Okay.
Yeah, there's another house here, another house here.
Did we ever get an answer to the landscaping question from
No.
Liz?
No, I
No.
think
That after Mr. Patel.
Oh, that's Mr. Patel,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Any other questions of their engineer?
I don't know if this is a question for the engineer, but I'm kind of curious how the application is in front of the zoning board. Was there a construction permit, or you said we're gonna build a patio and we need to go in front of the zoning board?
Well, we knew we were over on coverage already, so there was no question about it.
Lot coverage.
That's,
You're asking for permission, you're not asking for forgiveness,
Right.
correct?
Right, you haven't built it yet.
that's correct, that's correct.
We've had both.
But there's no, after we supposedly approve, should we be approving it, there's no construction permit application and no one to check afterwards?
Well, there's
Oh,
compliance.
yes, yeah.
There'd be
There is.
construction.
Sure.
Okay.
They
I didn't
make
remember
sure that,
construction permits for patios.
Yeah, they have to get their plans signed off on, and it has to be double checked that it's done according to the plan.
Okay, I've seen decks have construction permits, I've seen additions, I haven't seen patios, but okay.
No, they'd have to, yeah.
I think this one, because the scope is a little bit more than just a standard patio, he wants to have the outdoor kitchen items and things like that, that would all require construction permits and things like that. Retaining walls, anything like that. Sometimes, yeah, if you're just putting a 10-by-10 flagstone patio down, you
Yeah.
might not need to get a permit, but you should. Especially from a lot coverage point of view.
Right.
Right.
Mm.
Any other questions for the engineer? Okay. There's no audience, so I'm closing it to the audience. Okay, next.
And our next and final witness, I believe, is Gary Patel himself. Mr. Patel, would you just indicate for the record what your address is?
118 Waverly Avenue.
And with whom do you reside at that property?
My wife, 2 children, my mother-in-law and my mother,
And how old are your children?
18 and 20,
And when did you and your wife purchase this property?
2012.
Has anything been done to the property as far as impervious coverage since you purchased the property?
No.
Bless you.
Bless
Question. Just for the record, have you made any additions to the home or expanded the home or the living space of the home at all since you lived there?
No.
And if you would, and Mr. Castro obviously has stolen your thunder a little bit on this because we reversed the order. But would you describe to the board, what you're proposing, and more importantly, what do you intend to do with the patio?
Well, we like to enjoy the outside space, and since the COVID, we do not like to take my mother and my mother-in-law outside because of the risk. So sitting in all day in the home is not good for them. So if we can have this patio, they can enjoy. And then we like to enjoy as well, outside space, everybody likes to enjoy. So that is why we would like to do this patio, so we can enjoy, we can have the family over, friends over, and we can enjoy the life.
And
Now-
just for the record, how old are your mother and mother-in-law?
My mother is 82-year-old and my mother-in-law is 75-year-old.
Okay.
And when you're entertaining, do you intend to have cooking facilities, things of that nature out there?
Yeah, we're gonna have the barbecue grill and then the sink and the countertop.
Okay. And
So
what,
you gonna have plumbing out there?
I'm sorry?
You gonna have plumbing, running water out there?
Yeah,
Running water?
yeah.
Okay.
For the sink, yes.
Yes.
what other amenities, furniture, and what have
Yeah,
you
we're gonna
do you
have
intend to
the
place?
south side of the patio, we're gonna have the table, chairs over there, and then we have the fire pit right down from the steps. And then on the north east side, we're gonna have the regular hinge, and then
I'm sorry, the northeast side have the what?
hinge.
Swing?
Swing.
Swing.
Sorry.
Swing.
Sorry, swing, a regular swing, not the kiddie swing. And then we're gonna have the kitchen also on the northeast corner of the house.
So as you're coming down the stairs from the covered patio onto the proposed patio, the cooking area will be to the right?
Yes.
And are there any other amenities planned for the patio itself?
Not other than that, because I would like to keep it some space open, so if everybody comes and nobody wants to sit, they can stand and hang out and whatnot.
Understood. The board asked about landscaping. Do you have any plans at this point, or what do you plan to do landscaping?
Surrounding the patio, we're gonna do some landscaping, so while we are sitting outside, we can enjoy the view also and whatnot, but we haven't decided yet with the landscaper that what we're gonna put, the flowers, bushes, or whatnot.
Okay. If the board were to impose as a condition of approval that you do plant certain types of things, are you willing to listen to them on that?
Yeah,
Okay. Have you spoken with your neighbors at all about this application?
yeah, I spoke to the neighbor which is east of us,
Okay.
and they, I think, received a letter from the township or whatnot, and they asked us, what are you doing? And we are saying that we are doing the patio in the back of the house.
And did they express any concerns about it?
No,
Have any of your neighbors expressed any concerns or criticism since receiving notices?
no.
I have nothing further for Mr. Patel at this time.
I have a question. What about that playhouse that's in the backyard?
Sorry. The playhouse that's there, first of all, was that there when you purchased the property?
Yes,
Okay. How old are your children again?
18 and 20.
Okay. Is it fair to say that they're not using the playhouse anymore?
No, and they never used since we moved to that house.
Are you using it to store anything at all in?
Right now, we are just using for, if it's something extra, we just putting over there. We're not going over there.
Are you using it as a shed, is what I'm saying?
No,
Okay.
no.
Would it be adverse to remove it?
I like to keep it if it's sitting there.
I'm just asking because if you're not using it for anything and it is square footage that it's taking up, unless you intend to use it as a shed for things, which is fine, but I'm just asking, you don't wish to have it removed then?
No, once we have the patio, if we have the extra chair or whatnot, we might gonna store it.
Okay, then you use it as a shed?
Yeah, after the patio, not currently.
What's the dimensions of that building?
I would say is maybe 6 by 6 or 8 by 8
Okay.
with
so-
only 3 feet tall doors.
Just for the record, you don't have any other shed or storage device on the property, right?
No, no.
So that, it's 3-foot tall doors?
Yeah, it's just for me, I have to
You have
literally
to bend over.
whole halfway, I have to bend over to get inside.
So even if it's used as a shed, it's not that useful, but it's
No,
something. Okay.
no. It's literally, as in my knowledge, is for the kids who is like kindergarten kids, that they can go easily inside and play and whatnot.
No, I understand that. I'm just asking because if you want to remove it and put a regular shed there that's the same size, you may want to clarify that tonight, because it sounds like your playhouse is really not usable to store things in if you have to bend over on a 3-foot door to put something in there. If you're intending to use it in the future to store patio furniture or things that go on your deck, on your patio, you may want to convert that to a regular shed of the same size for it to be useful to you.
Yeah.
If you're getting the square footage anyway out of that, what's the sense of having something you can't use or store
Sure.
things in?
No, I agree with you 100%, but honestly, I did not thought about it, or my wife did not thought about it to
No, I
change it.
understand
Yeah,
that, but
so-
if you wish to do that, I would say, ask us tonight, and if you want to swap it for a usable shed of the same size, you're getting the square footage benefit anyway.
Right.
So just in case you might want to do that someday, what the board is offering to do
Yeah,
would
we
be
can
to
ask for it today.
state right in the resolution that replacing the playhouse with a storage shed would not
Of the same
constitute a
size.
violation
Yeah.
of the same size, of course.
Yeah, just a full-size shed, but full-size doors
Yeah.
that you don't have to bend over like a midget to get into.
Yeah.
That's just going to have a couple questions on that now. So what about accessory structures and setbacks?
It meets the accessory structure. The one thing I will say, it is the playhouse is 106 square feet, and sheds can be a maximum of 100 square feet.
Okay, so a shed of 100 square feet.
Yes, yes.
Which makes sense.
Up to 100
Yeah,
square feet. yeah,
up to 100 square feet.
And therefore would have actually perhaps slightly less square
Yeah,
footage.
and wouldn't have that little,
For coverage purposes.
and wouldn't have that little thing in front of it.
And if they put crushed stone underneath, it wouldn't count towards lot coverage at all.
Great, so you may better benefit for you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. I mean, I'm just suggesting that because it doesn't sound like that's much of a useful.
Good idea.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
will invite you.
Tell my wife
for-
that next.
I will invite you for the grand opening.
It's okay. Of the shed, there you go.
A few years down the road, there might be little people again who might want to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 18 and 20, we'll hold off on that.
Yeah.
Nothing further from Mr. Patel.
Okay, so you wish that to be part of the resolution, that you be allowed to replace the existing structure with a shed not to exceed 100 square feet?
Yes.
Yeah, we like to request, please.
Okay.
If no,
Just one, so just so I can understand the size you ended up with, the 73 by 35, so I think I said the south side intends to be sort of like a sitting area. As you come down the stairs, there'd be sort of a fire pit feature, and then over on the north side, that's intended to be there'll be like a cooking kitchen outside kind of food preparation area. Is that accurate?
Northeast.
Northeast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and in your opinion, the size that you have here is necessary to fulfill those functions individually?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
So what you've gone to is now your patio follows the line of the house on the side and you won't see it jutting out from the side of the house, I see, on the north side.
Correct.
You eliminated that, okay. And you eliminated you squared off the back to make it, okay,
Yes, correct.
all right.
I mean, not
Yes.
that it's germane anymore, but
Yes.
the original patio was abutting the playhouse? Was that how?
Almost.
Yeah. So that would have eliminated the use of the playhouse at the time, right? Or would you had to have taken it down?
No, original plan to, to go into the playhouse, you can easily go from patio straight to the
we're just gonna
playhouse.
walk- Okay, it was gonna be same graded.
Yeah, so height of the playhouse and then patio.
They were gonna kind of be one.
Yeah, so if some kids wants to go inside, they can easily go from there.
Okay.
You don't have young children, but when you have guests over, they might have young children.
Yeah,
so-
and maybe one day, I hope my kids get married and they have children and,
They can get their own playhouse. Believe me, you want a shed. Only teasing.
Sheds are nice.
Any more questions? No? No? You-
Just one, if I
Yes.
may, we left the landscaping offer of a condition of approval at, well, it was fairly vague.
Yeah.
To say the least. I'm not, aside from who the review and approving individual or entity would be, we don't know exactly what's even being offered. So maybe with Liz's help, we can get a little more
And Samantha,
specificity,
too.
and Liz may be the reviewing individual.
I think my particular concern was actually your neighbor to the south, because there is less landscaping. If you have a large group of people, that there would be noise, or that they would have some, potential exposure. And so I was going to suggest that that be more heavily landscaped, if that's where you were going to, if the one place that you would put
Along the
landscaping
25-foot line?
would be,
Along that line? there?
yes, yeah.
Let me just elicit some testimony on that, though. What is currently between you and that neighbor? I believe there's a fence there, and what else?
fence and the big trees along the whole side of the half of the house to all the way back. So we cannot see their backyard, or they cannot see us.
And they cannot see your driveway, basically? That's all hidden?
They can see the front side of the driveway, but not the,
I'm referring to the parking area, the garage area.
the garage area they cannot see. They have to come a little bit east to see the garage.
And does that mean then that they also would not be able to see the patio because of
No.
the fence and the trees?
No.
Is it a solid fence, like a privacy fence?
It's a metal fence, but then there is along the whole fence, they have so many trees, both sides, our side and their side.
Is the fence on your property?
No, ma'am.
Oh, well, that makes it a little different. So, I think it would still, and I'm looking at an aerial right now, and the fence and the landscaping is on your neighbor's property. And I guess what I'm suggesting is that the board may want to request that you not necessarily put fencing, but put up some additional landscaping on your property to shield the patio.
Yeah, on our property, there is some trees along,
Yeah, I can see in the aerial, but it looks like the majority of that landscaping is actually on your neighbor's property.
Liz,
So that would be
are you
on the
thinking of
side.
something on the property line or along the patio, or that's what you're asking?
Either way is fine. I think it's just, if there's I'm assuming if you have a lot of people over, it's going to creep into the yard, which is fine, but that there would be some sort of consideration of it's not going to eliminate any noise, but just some privacy, maybe a little mitigation of noise.
Landscape screening and buffering along the property line.
Or the edge of the patio?
Yeah, or the edge of the
Or the edge
patio.
of the patio.
But, I mean, if you're gonna put stuff that's blocking view, you may wanna not, you may want it away from the patio.
Right.
Just so the patio doesn't look like you have a wall there, but.
Right.
So that would also serve to block the sound if people go into the yard.
Yeah.
You're talking about the short side of the patio to the left?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And-
There's nothing to prevent that neighbor from removing that fence, removing the.
Right, exactly.
Right,
Yeah, because it's not under his control.
Right.
Right, so plant something along that side of your house there where it says the 175-foot length, toward the back there.
And if it references the intention of screening visually and noise, the neighbor to the south, we at least have some idea of what is being proposed and why, subject to the reasonable discretion of our planner. Liz?
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes. Samantha's just pointing out to me that it's a, say again.
There's a 20-foot drainage
There's an easement there.
Oh,
So
Where's
that would
the
be 10
easement?
feet, so the landscaping would.
Oh, that's the easement, so it'd have to be inside that.
Inside the
10
easement.
feet off,
Okay.
yeah. It doesn't have to be, not be in the easement, but the problem is,
You rip it
I'm
up.
assuming there's a drainage pipe in there.
If they wanted
They
it
might
in
have to dig it
there.
up at some point, then that.
That would be a shame to have to
Exactly,
dig up
so let's
trees.
just set it 10
Right,
feet off the edge of the property
Right,
line. to be
okay.
Outside of that drainage easement.
Yeah, so between
Make
the
sure
edge of the
they don't-
patio and that 10-foot easement.
We have no objection to
No
that.
objection? I got it as a
Thank you.
step.
Okay. Any other questions of Mr. Patel or our experts by the board? No?
Or imaginary public.
Yes, no public, good, okay, close it to the public. No, we don't have Zoom anymore.
On the agenda?
No, it's not doing Zoom anymore.
That's good.
No, we're not Zooming.
In person means in person.
Yeah, right, we're not doing Zoom anymore. We were admonished from not doing that. So, would you like to sum up?
I would. It's obviously not a hardship variance, we're not claiming a C1. It is a C2, and essentially you're improving your housing stock, increasing property values overall, which is a purpose of the MLUL, under the case law cited in our addendum. It certainly improves the aesthetics as well, as the neighborhood as a whole, and certainly this property as well. There is no clear detriment whatsoever that we can see. Neighbors obviously aren't here objecting in any way. They are, by and large, fairly distant from the patio, except for perhaps the property we're just discussing. And we have just discussed the mitigation efforts to be able to do that. So the benefits would outweigh any detriment, because at this point, we really don't see any detriment. So for those purposes, those reasons, we would ask that the variance be granted. We thank you for your patience and your time.
Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
The,
certainly.
just to help tee it up for the board, if I may, again, the board already made a preliminary determination on polling that a floor area ratio variance is not required, as we have a pre-existing deviation, the magnitude of which will be a condition of approval if there's an approval. So the only variance relief being sought by the applicant is, as I understand it now, not a 29.3%, but a 27.6% impervious coverage proposed versus 22.8 existing and 20% maximum permitted. That is the only variance relief being sought by the applicant under the C2 criteria as argued by applicant's attorney. And the conditions of approval that I have, if it is an approval, would be all the items stipulated to, including but not limited to those set forth in the May 27 engineering plan and the June 2nd planners, engineering memo and the June 2nd planners memo, as well as condition that the exact number by the appropriate professional of the floor area existing be calculated and provided to the board and the building department.
And be put in the resolution.
And, well, it'll be, it won't be put in a resolution
Okay.
because it's a condition of approval to
All
be
right.
provided.
Yeah.
But I believe the building department and the, would be appropriate. And
Should that be put on the final plans, though?
the plans revised accordingly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
And stormwater management and sizing of dry well will remain as proposed.
As
Not-
originally proposed.
As
Originally proposed,
Right,
He does have to-
with respect to the 2,000 square foot proposed
right.
patio, and the landscape screening 10 feet off the property line to the south, the appropriate length, with the intent and purpose being to screen visually and sound buffer as well, the neighboring adjacent property owner at lot 1601 to the south, subject to the review and approval of the board planner. And the board would also presumably be giving permission, will be, unless I'm told otherwise, for the applicant to replace the playhouse with a shed not exceeding a footprint of 100 square feet. And I believe that's everything. Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this again, and.
This meaning the.
Oh, this is, I don't know.
A4?
A4.
A4,
Okay. Not to cause a trouble, but to clear you up from any troubles. Initially, it was a footpath with stones, and now it's pavers. Is that gonna cause any impervious coverage? I mean, probably just a couple.
Was that already addressed in the
Yeah.
increase?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
It
that
was
was already
accounted
addressed.
for, yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, no, that's good you brought it up, because we want to make sure that we clarify those
I'm
things.
gonna give you
Thank
everything you're gonna get.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
So that would be the motion, if it's a motion to approve. If it's a motion to deny, then we don't
fine.
have conditions.
Jonathan, would you start the deliberation?
I think that after much back and forth, that the applicant has shown that this additional patio would not be a detriment. It would improve upon the living area for his family and for usefulness of the area. I believe that because of the fact that none of the neighbors are here, and with the stipulations that we've included, that any of the detriment caused by this would be ameliorated by these things, and I don't see any reason not to approve of this application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom?
I'm glad that Ms. Tupperty was able to come at the last meeting, and obviously.
Could you put your microphone closer?
I was glad that she was able to come, and I'm sure with, between the last meeting and this meeting, all of her questions have been satisfied, which is great. There's nobody here complaining. It looks like it would be a beautiful addition to your house. It's not going to be seen from the road. It's going to be private to you, and with all of the stipulations, I wish you much luck, and I hope this passes for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary?
I appreciate that you've gone through the process and come before the board, explaining your situation of the way the property was when you.
Put the microphone closer.
When you took ownership of it. And I think the board's been very thorough in examining this application, and I'll be happy for you when it passes.
Thank you.
Scott?
I appreciate everything you've done. It looks great. I don't see any problems. Your neighbors will not see anything. I think this is a great addition to part of your property, and I have no problems with it.
Thank you.
Ben?
Yeah, I look on this application favorably as well. I think that the extra lot coverage is being mitigated by the stormwater management system, and the screening would take care of anything for the only neighbor around. And I think it's a positive addition to the home, and it will be nice and add value.
Jessica?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I agree with everything that everybody said. I think that the benefit outweighs any detriment, and you've, adequately addressed the potential drainage issues, potential privacy issues. I think that what you propose here is probably, the minimum that you can get away with everything that you're, looking to do, which is not unreasonable, and so I'm for the application.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brian?
Yes, thank you. I'm in favor of the application as well. I believe thank you for taking our comments into your design from our last meeting. I believe the reduced size of the patio minimizes the development on the property while also allowing full access, full use of the space as the homeowner would like. The redesign of the stormwater management system, I think, reduces the coverage not only from the proposed patio, but also from the existing lot coverage overage that they're sort of inheriting. And that's an actual benefit to the property, in that it'll be a reduction of runoff, potential runoff, and also being that we're keeping the stormwater management as originally designed, can also potentially reduce runoff in the final condition. I think the benefits outweigh any detriments. It's consistent with the intent of the master plan, advances the purpose of the municipal land use law, and I'm in favor of the application.
Thank you.
I concur with the opinion of my fellow board members. I think that the applicant has worked with the board, come up with a plan that was well thought out, and we appreciate that. You take the board comments to heart, and with the conditions that were read, I would be in favor of it.
Thank you.
Very much.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the application?
Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Giannakis,
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf,
Yes.
Mr. Hain,
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Johnson,
Yes.
Chairman Correct,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you
Congratulations.
very much. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful night.
Thank you. We got done at 9:15. Excellent. See what happened?
You could just take it. You can have it. yeah.
I'm teasing, I want you. You did an excellent job.
we need a
You did
motion.
Excellent job. Really. I mean, you had.
Yeah, I need three more. I need from Gary. I need from Gary, and I need from Tom, and I
We
need
shut off?
from Mr., from Ed. No, we're not done.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
Still have to do a motion.
We have to, all right. Do we have any other things to talk about?
No, there was one board member who expressed concern over the July 5th meeting as far as attendance, and he stated he wouldn't be able to attend. I would just like to check with the board now that you're all here, since
What are we hearing on July 5th?
we have another impervious coverage variance.
Okay,
Just one residential application?
Just one residential application, yes.
okay, and is it a deck or what is it?
No, it's actually, they're doing, it's interesting, it's an addition.
It's actually a building.
It's actually, they're building onto the house, yeah, the
Second
whole
floor
property, yeah,
Oh, second floor.
yeah.
Have they noticed already, or they've been
They have
told to
noticed.
notice? They've noticed, okay.
All right, so I guess that's a fair question. Anyone would not be available for the July 5th that is currently sitting here?
I am
You
not.
would, Scott, we're losing Brian.
So we just lost three.
We lost 3. Anyone else?
Anyone else?
Everyone else is available? I mean, speak now, and if you don't, and you become unavailable, tough, no. But,
All right, so good, then we'll have 6 members, great.
yeah, and we don't, it's not a 5 or more.
It's not a
Okay,
D-variance,
good,
so we're
okay.
good.
Great, so that sounds like we can go forward.
Yes.
Why did she say
All right.
this?
And I don't anticipate that going beyond our meeting, hopefully.
No, I don't as well,
Okay.
no.
All
I
right.
don't, Samantha, you've started review?
Yes.
Our experts are available? Okay,
I'm not.
you're not?
I'm not.
Will
but-
someone from your office?
Yeah.
Probably both, but I will check to see
I
if
thought I
someone
cornered
else
the
is
market on
available. I'm not
self-deprecation.
sure that the application
Needs?
needs it, but I can double
Okay,
check and see.
well, I mean, would you be opining on it in a report or not?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
I'll write a report, but
All right, okay.
I can check certainly to see, I
Okay.
think between Samantha and Steve, you'll be fine.
Okay, all right, either one, if
Yeah,
you could
okay.
send somebody, I mean, okay.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
thanks,
okay, so
okay.
good one.
So we can go forward on July 5th?
Yeah, we have more than a quorum?
Yeah, we have
We have
6.
6 individuals.
Six?
who said
Oh,
they
okay,
will be
great.
here.
Fine,
Yeah, no
yeah.
D variance, so we're
No,
good.
so
No
that we're good,
deviance,
yeah. I don't, okay, nothing else to discuss?
I do not have
Oh,
any.
what would be the next meeting? We don't have a second meeting in July.
No, we do
right?
not have a second meeting in July, and the next meeting there would be August 16th.
Okay, and what are we hearing on that date?
Wait, I don't know yet.
Oh, we don't have anything?
We don't have
okay.
anything scheduled yet.
Okay. all right.
But I'll just remind the board, the reason why we don't meet on August 2nd is we all agreed because that's National Night Out.
Right, right.
So
yes,
therefore, the
yes.
planning board has August 9th, which then the only date in August that the board has is August 16th.
That's fine, yeah.
I'll see you guys in September because I can't make that one either.
Okay.
What is it with you? I'm only teasing.
Just send me an email reminder, I'll forget.
Yeah, so don't put a D variance on that, no.
That's right.
Okay. I mean, is there anyone else that thinks August 16th would be it?
I will not be here on August.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. No. Other than the one absent member, everyone else is good. Okay. Great. Okay, then I don't see a problem there as far as that goes. So, all right.
So
All right.
the other matter, the other board members, please, who
Yeah, we-
received this tonight.
I'm collecting those, and I'll bring them over to you.
Sounds
What
good.
is that?
Okay. That's it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. All right, good. We're done. Now we're on. Good.
Not off yet.
Not off yet. Almost off.